Welcome, everyone, to our deep dive on Ramadan fasting. But we're not just scratching the surface here,
Yeah,
We're going deeper.
absolutely.
And we've got a fantastic podcast episode that's going to help us really get into not just, like the how-to of fasting,
Right.
but like the why, the real heart of it.
The beauty and the wisdom
Exactly.
that's woven into this practice. Yeah.
I love that. So the episode we're diving into is called The Beauty and Wisdom of Fasting During Ramadan.
Okay.
And right away, they jump into this verse from the Quran.
Okay.
It's Surah Baqarah, verse 183.
Mm.
And it talks about how fasting is prescribed for believers as it was for, people before.
Yeah.
And the goal is to attain taqwa.
Taqwa. And, that's really the core of it. It's often translated as God consciousness,
Yeah.
but it's really so much more than that. It's
Yeah.
about cultivating an awareness of Allah's presence in every single thing you do.
So it's like not just knowing that God is there, but really feeling it.
Yeah.
Like in every choice, every action.
Exactly. Bringing that awareness into every single moment.
Yeah.
And fasting is really like the training ground for that, when
Yeah.
you feel those pangs of hunger or thirst,
Mhm.
you're instantly reminded that you're dependent on something so much greater than yourself.
Oh, I see.
So it's a constant reminder to be humble and grateful.
It makes me think about like how often we just go through life on autopilot,
Right?
not really thinking about where our needs come from.
Yeah, I thought
Or what we're really yearning for. And fasting kind of brings that to the forefront.
it does. It's like this wake-up call
Right.
to break free from the grip of our desires,
Yeah.
to step outside of just those immediate wants and really see that true fulfillment comes from something much, much bigger.
So powerful. And the episode also talks about how this discipline of fasting like overflows into other areas of our life.
Yes.
And they use this analogy of a spiritual boot camp.
Right.
I thought that was really interesting.
It is. It's about taking that control you've built by managing your physical desires and then
Yeah.
applying it to your inner self.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like training your nafs,
Yeah.
that part of you that wants everything right now,
Right.
that's impulsive.
That gives in to all the temptation.
So it's not just willpower for the sake of willpower. It's about refining your character.
So it's deeper.
It is.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I can see how that would be tough, but also so worth it
Absolutely.
in the long run.
It is. It's about purifying your intentions, mastering your anger, letting go of envy.
Wow.
It's about replacing those negative habits with positive ones. And all of that's grounded in remembering Allah Strai.
It's like you're taking that Ramadan discipline and you're letting it shape you,
Yeah,
like beyond just the month itself.
absolutely.
That's fascinating how something as physical as hunger,
Yeah.
can lead to such deep inner change.
It's a powerful transformation. And that transformation, it has this ripple effect outwards too. Oh, interesting.
It's not just about you, it's about everyone around you.
Okay.
One of the big things the episode talks about is how fasting helps you cultivate empathy.
Oh, right. They were talking about that.
Yeah.
How, like, when you feel that hunger and thirst yourself,
Yeah.
it makes you understand what it's like for people who go through that every day.
Right. It's not just an intellectual concept. It's
Right.
something you feel.
Yeah.
Your body. Yeah.
Because you connect on a whole other level.
Exactly.
It's like walking in someone else's shoes.
Yes.
But in this case, it's like experiencing their hunger.
Yeah. And that can be a huge motivator for action.
Yeah, for wanting to help.
Right. It naturally leads to more charity,
Mhm.
more desire to serve, and a deeper commitment to social justice.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that we're all connected
Okay.
and that everyone's well-being is tied together.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And speaking of connecting with others, the episode also highlights how important community is during Ramadan.
Oh, it's huge. It is.
Ramadan is a deeply communal experience.
Mm-hmm.
Those shared meals at iftar, the prayers together,
Yeah.
all the acts of worship.
Yeah.
It creates this powerful sense of unity.
Like you're all in it together,
Exactly.
supporting each other.
Yeah. Sharing stories, celebrating each other's successes.
And that energy must be so uplifting,
It is. It really is.
Like everyone's pushing each other to be better,
Yeah, to be more mindful.
to really make the most of this month.
Yeah, there's this shared sense of purpose that I think is really unique to Ramadan.
It sounds really special.
It is.
Yeah, it really does feel like this wave of energy and intention, you know? And the episode actually touched on something that I think connects to that.
Okay.
The idea of Ramadan being a time for forgiveness and renewal.
Yes. Cleansing the heart, seeking forgiveness for past mistakes, and really starting fresh.
It's like a reset.
It is.
And they even share this saying from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. about how whoever fasts Ramadan with faith and hope for reward will have their past sins forgiven.
Powerful, right?
It's so powerful, and it makes me think about like all the different layers of forgiveness that are happening during Ramadan.
Oh, yeah.
There's asking Allah for forgiveness, there's forgiving others,
Right.
and then there's this piece that I think we sometimes forget.
Yeah.
Forgiving ourselves.
So important.
It's so easy to get caught up in like self-criticism,
Right.
and regretting things.
Yeah.
But Ramadan gives us this chance to let go of all that.
To embrace self-compassion
Yeah.
and move forward with a renewed sense of hope.
I love that letting go. It really is like we're carrying all this baggage,
Yeah.
and Ramadan's like, okay, put it down.
It's heavy.
Yeah, for real. And when we let go of that, then there's space for something new.
Absolutely. You can reset your spiritual compass,
Okay.
realign yourself with your values,
Yeah.
and recommit to that journey of growth.
It's like hitting the refresh button on your soul.
Love it.
So the episode also talked about this one night during Ramadan.
Oh, yeah.
That really brings together this idea of like individual and collective spiritual energy.
Laylatul Qadr.
Laylatul Qadr, the night of power.
It's amazing.
They described it as being better than 1,000 months.
1,000 months.
Like a whole lifetime
Almost.
in one night. And it's a night when destinies are written, prayers are answered, angels descend to earth.
It's incredible.
What do you think it is about Laylatul Qadr that draws people in?
I think it's that combination of mystery and possibility.
Okay.
Because the exact date is unknown.
Right.
It encourages you to treat every night of Ramadan with that same level of devotion.
Like it could be the night.
Exactly.
It's like a spiritual treasure hunt.
It is.
I'm curious, have you had any personal experiences during Laylatul Qadr that felt particularly powerful?
I remember one year I was feeling really lost,
Oh.
unsure about my path, and it was during those last 10 nights of Ramadan. And I was praying a lot, hoping for some guidance, some clarity.
Yeah.
And one night I woke up in the early morning hours, and this overwhelming sense of peace just washed over me.
Wow.
It's hard to describe, but it felt like this weight had been lifted.
Yeah.
And I had this renewed sense of purpose.
Like a direction.
Yeah, a direction. I can't say for sure if it was Laylatul Qadr.
Right.
But the timing, the intensity, it felt special.
It's like your prayers were met with this tangible shift.
It's moments like that that remind us of the true power of Ramadan. It's not just rituals.
Right.
It's about opening yourself up to the possibility of change in yourself and in your connection with the divine.
Wow. It's amazing to think about all these individual experiences happening like within this bigger, collective energy of Ramadan.
Yeah.
So as we're kind of wrapping up our deep dive here, what would you say is like the biggest takeaway for you?
I think for me, it's that Ramadan isn't just a month on the calendar.
Right.
It's like a blueprint
Okay.
for living a more mindful life,
Right.
a more intentional life,
Yeah.
a more spiritually connected life. And it's about taking those principles, self-discipline, empathy, forgiveness, spiritual renewal, and actually weaving them into our everyday lives.
I love that. A blueprint for a more mindful life.
Yeah.
Like Ramadan gives us this like dedicated time to practice these qualities, to really make them a part of who we are.
Yeah. You're building those spiritual muscles during Ramadan.
Okay.
So that you can draw on that strength
Yeah.
throughout the year.
I was just thinking about those times when, we might feel disconnected from our spiritual practice.
Right.
Or, when life just throws us curveballs.
Absolutely.
Maybe we can tap into that Ramadan mindset to
Yeah.
help us get through those moments.
You can definitely do that.
So what would that look like?
Well, when you're faced with a tough decision, ask yourself, what would I do if this were Ramadan? Would I react with anger or would I respond with compassion?
Right. Would I be patient?
Exactly.
Would I, think about others?
Yeah. Would you indulge in gossip or would you guard your tongue?
Right. It's like having this inner compass
Yeah.
that's been calibrated during Ramadan,
Yeah.
guiding us back to our best selves.
Absolutely. And remember, that compass is always there.
It is.
Even when you're not fasting.
Right.
It's about staying aware,
Yeah.
being intentional.
So to kind of wrap things up here, I want to turn that question back to our listeners.
Okay.
How can you apply the principles of Ramadan fasting to your own life,
Yeah.
even outside of the month itself?
Maybe it's setting aside a few minutes each day just for quiet reflection.
Yeah.
Or making a conscious effort to be more present when you're interacting with others.
More mindful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe it's committing to an act of charity or service, or simply being more intentional with your words and actions.
It's about taking that Ramadan spirit with us.
Yeah.
Letting it guide us.
Yeah.
As we move through the year.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive
My pleasure.
into the beauty and wisdom of Ramadan fasting. Until next time.